Dating apps love to market themselves as wide open playgrounds where anybody can meet anybody. Swipe, match, fall in love. That's the pitch. But the reality? The data tells a more complicated story. And some of these numbers are downright surprising. So today, we're going to be looking at 15 of the most surprising statistics about the dating apps and how you can use them to work in your favor. That sounds at all interesting. I hope you'll stick around because that's what's on the agenda. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Things like that work, right? So I just wanted a quick reminder here that when you swipe right, you're assuming this person might be right for you. And when you swipe left, this is just how you remember it, left would not be loser, left, looser. I don't know. However that works out for you. Men swipe right on nearly half the profiles that they see, half. But their match rate, a measly 0.6%. That's like Vegas slot machine odds. Women swipe right on only about 14% of the profiles, but their match rates are nearly 10 times higher. MIT crunched the numbers and basically said, yeah, this is a lopsided casino. Guys are spraying and praying and women are being selective, and the results prove it. So what can you do with that info? Stop swiping like it's a raffle. Be intentional. People can tell when you're actually choosing them, and that's what gets you noticed. The average first message from a woman is 122 characters, and the average from a man, want to guess? 12. So I think maybe all those heys, hi, and hey you are kind of dragging down the median there. Women are trying, men, that's just phoning it in. And yet somehow the guys are still wondering why nothing's happening for them there. Fixing this one, fellas, is so simple that you're going to kick yourself when you realize that this was going to make such a change in your outcomes. Put one thought in that message that actually shows you read their profile. Doesn't have to be brilliant, just real. Find one tiny something that you can comment on or ask about from her profile or from her profile pictures. That's it. Speaking of profile pictures, the sweet spot is 3 to 5 photos for your profile. One photo and people are assuming you're hiding something, and often people are. 10 photos and people tap out halfway through. Who's got time for that? Group shots, they slash your swipes by 42% because nobody wants to play Where's Waldo with their love life. That's crazy, right? But here's the curveball. Include a dog and your likes can triple. So forget the shirtless gym selfie guys and forget the artsy latte pic. Just you and a Labrador and suddenly you're irresistible. 3 to 5 clear solo photos with a little range is enough. And if your dog's part of your life, great, let him co-star. The top 6% of users get nearly 20% of all the first messages. I know you're aware that there's a statistic like this, but I want to remind you that being bombarded with attention like that doesn't mean that they're finding love. It just means that they're very busy sorting through all that noise and that we date people like us. So you're not here to make every fantasy come true. You're here to make the dream come true of finding a loving partner. And if you need a quick gut check, picture bringing this person home for dinner. If nobody's staring at the two of you with their mouth agape, wondering how you landed this one, you're probably selecting people who make sense for you. And that's the way you change that statistic. As you know, I have a service where I create people's profiles for them, and I just wanted to share with you that when you're creating a profile bio, the sweet spot is 70 to 100 words, and that gets you about 40% more matches. Isn't that wild? Just make sure that you're sharing just enough to say who you are without listing your shoe size, your childhood pets, and that summer you backpacked through Europe. Because the key here is specificity and giving them a window, right? Not a whole resume. Just a little personality, a hint of warmth, and you're in business. Sometimes all it takes is a good cup of coffee, and suddenly the thing that you've been overthinking Just makes sense. That's kind of what it's like being a subscriber here. It's not just about coffee, it's about clarity. So that's why I'm encouraging you to subscribe to the channel. I mean, I'll still be sitting here sipping on my coffee and offering up some common sense as I do. You just need to be able to find your way back here. So hit that button. All right, now we can get back to the good stuff. By their 50s, men send more than half their messages to women who are at least 8 years younger than they are. But here's the kicker: a lot of them set their filters to women who are their own age. But then they completely ignore those settings and message 20 somethings anyway. It's so weird. It's like ordering a salad and then sitting there and eating somebody else's french fries. But, the math doesn't really work because a 50-year-old man who's messaging a 25-year-old woman has only about a 14% chance of getting a reply back. That means that 86% of those messages go straight into the void. That confident older guy sliding into 20-something inboxes, statistically speaking, he's talking to himself. So if you want better results, message in the range you claim to be looking in. It shows integrity, sure. It saves time mostly, and your odds of hearing back skyrocket. Activity on the app seems to peak on Sunday nights at around 9 o'clock, to be specific, and match rates at that point jump 30% higher than during the weekday grind. So forget meal prepping, folks. Sunday night is when everybody suddenly remembers they're single. The laundry's running, the weekend's over, and suddenly swiping feels like the most exciting thing happening in the house. If you're using the dating app Hinge, you might want to pay attention to this one, but Hinge profiles with a voice prompt get 40% more likes and 65% more comments. Yeah, people want to know what you sound like and if you sound like somebody they could actually enjoy sitting across from. That's a little bit more than being a stock photo with teeth, right? Your voice gives away more than you think. Humor and confidence and whether you sound bored with your own life, honestly. The mistake that a lot of people make, though, is trying just too hard. They script it, they overthink it, and then they turn it into a stand-up routine. So don't. A simple answer with a laugh in it works. Something that shows you can carry a conversation. Think less TED Talk, more kitchen table. And if you can get through a prompt without sounding like you're recording a hostage video, you're already ahead of half the people on the app. After 35, women are about 10 times more likely to message younger men. And younger men are replying at high rates. In fact, a 40-year-old woman gets about a 60% reply rate from a 25-year-old man. The cultural script used to be older men chasing younger women only, but now women are flipping the script and the guys are responding. But we do have to be aware here, and let's be honest, some of these younger guys are really only looking for something casual. Hey, that's fine. That's why you treat the date like any other. Have a real conversation about what you're both looking for. Ask. You're not applying for a mortgage. You're just finding out if you and somebody else are on the same page. Men still start about 80% of the conversations, which means women are sitting there waiting to be chosen and then complaining when the openers are really dull and boring. Hey there, hi, hey beautiful, how's your day going? How's your weekend? If you want to talk to somebody, talk to them. And no, you're not going to look desperate. A message that says, so you really do make the world's best lasagna? Oh, that beats another hi every single time. If you want the better conversation, you start the better conversation. And let's face it, oh, you need this too. If a man's scared off because you said hello first, you just saved yourself 6 weeks of carrying the whole conversation anyway. Men swipe right on 60 to 70% of the profiles they look at, while women swipe right on 4 to 5%. Men are treating it like a lottery ticket. Women are treating it like jury duty, and neither is working well. If you're a man, that endless swiping makes you look like you don't mean it. And if you're a woman dismissing 95% of men off a glance, that means you're missing some really, really good ones. So the fix isn't lowering your standards, it's raising your curiosity. Instead of next, try, maybe. Cost you nothing to look deeper. 36% of women admit to ghosting, compared to 26% of men. So it's not that men are the bad guys, it's that we all avoid uncomfortable conversations. But ghosting is very lazy, and it leaves somebody wondering what the heck happened. And it makes you look like you couldn't be bothered to send one polite line, a quick, thanks, but I'm not feeling a connection. That's classy. It's rare, and because it's rare, and because it's rare, it's attractive. Think of it this way. Even when you're saying no, you're showing what kind of a person you are. Okay, Bumble users, this one's for you. 30% of you go on a date within a week of matching. Honestly, that's not fast. That's how it's supposed to be. The apps are for a little banter, a couple back and forth messages, and then you pick an evening that works for both of you. Make the plan. Get out the door. That is the whole point, right? Dragging it out for weeks of conversations and pen pals like, so what's your favorite color? That's how chemistry dies in the inbox. And it's also how people get played. If someone won't meet you within 7 days, that's not romance. That's a red flag. Scammers don't make dinner plans. So that's why my rule is meet within 7 days or delete them. Always. If they're real and interested, they're going to show up. If not, you just saved yourself a lot of wasted energy and possibly a lot of money. People tend to swipe on partners who are about 25% more desirable than themselves, which means most people are reaching. But the farther apart you are, the less likely you are to get a reply. This is why chasing the most perfect profiles is a waste of time. The better bet is swiping on people who look like they'd actually live in your world. If you'd both pick tacos over truffle foam, that's a good sign. If you could picture the two of you in the same photo without it looking like a before and after ad, that's another one. Attraction isn't about perfection, it's about fit. Nearly 80% of users delete their dating apps only to reinstall it within the year. That's healthy, that's fine, but it does prove that dating apps are like bad reality TV. You swear that you're done, then you're back, just to take a little peek. Hey, that doesn't mean you're failing, it means you're normal. The trick is to not come back the same way that you left. If you return with the same blurry selfie and the half-finished bio, that's just Groundhog Day. But if you come back with sharper photos and a clearer idea of what you want, that's a kind of reset that works. Quitting isn't the solution, resetting with purpose is. And sometimes you just need a little clearing of your head. So what do you do with all these numbers? Well, you can measure yourself against them, sure, laugh at them, maybe groan a little, but statistics are just statistics. They explain the patterns, not the people. What actually happens when you meet somebody, that's still wide open. All right, I hope you found that interesting or at least validating. If you did, you might enjoy this episode about dating profiles. And hey, before you go, please give my little mama, that's my mother there, the thumbs up. She checks on it like it's the morning paper, and she just loves to brag when the numbers go up. Her numbers against mine. I don't really know what she's counting. And hey, don't forget to subscribe, because if women can take the time to write 122 characters in a first message, then you can take the time to hit that button. I appreciate you hanging out with me today, and until next time, have a good one.